The Black Writers Workspace and Direct 2 author welcome you to the 2024 Chapter 1 Writing Competition Meet the Winners interview series. We hope you will enjoy learning from these dynamic writers and continue to support them throughout their writing and publishing journey. During this series, you will meet the top winners in the fiction, nonfiction, and poetry categories. You will also hear from Ardane Isma, CEO of Village Care Publishing, as he announces the 4 Chapter 1 writers selected to submit a full manuscript in consideration for a traditionally published opportunity with Village Care. The interview series is hosted by author and founder of the Black Writers Workspace, Michelle D. Jackson. For information on the next competition, please follow us at Black Writers Workspace on Facebook and Instagram.
But for now, I would like to introduce our first writer, and she is the winner of our poetry competition. Her name is Miss Sandra Brown Lindstedt, and I'm so excited to have her. So welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm just excited to be here.
And we're so excited to have you. Again, winner of our 2024 Chapter 1 Writing Competition, the poetry category. Tell us a little bit about your work. And the title of that work is I Only Remembered Fireflies. And so to take home that top prize, you had to beat out a host of other poets and to showcase your work. And I love some of the things that the judges had to say. I love the work itself. But tell us what inspired it and what inspired that amazing title.
Well, Michelle, it's a long story, but I'm going to make it real short. We know that everybody has a story to tell about their childhood growing up. Some things we want to remember, some things we want to forget. But, so my story happened to start in the 60s, growing up in Chicago on the South Side, one of the worst abject slums you could imagine. And that's where I grew up. And my only reprieve was summer when I would go to Texas to be with my grandmother. So bringing back to life and reliving those feelings of insecurity being in Chicago and feelings of safety. I wanted the readers to actually to take away from this poem what they felt at that time as a child, being in a dark place and looking for salvation. And so in this poem is some of the things I tried to go back into my little girl feelings and start to relive some of those things. So the words themselves in the poem was borrowed from my first book that I wrote, which is Life of a Firefly. It's a memoir. And so it's about my life growing up as a child. And so some of the words I just sort of flipped through the book and I was saying, that looks like something I could use. So I just set out and I just started writing the poem out, and because it sparked my imagination. Phyllis Wheatley, she's a poet. She said, good stories aren't written, they're rewritten. And so I took out from the book some things and rewrote them and turned them into this poem.
I hate to put you on a spot, but I'm going to do it anyway because that's what I do. Would you be comfortable reading us a few lines of one of your poems?
Yes. Do you want me to read the one that won?
Yes. We'll love that. We'll love that. If you're comfortable, if you're not, I understand.
Oh, no, I can read it in my little girl voice. That Southern drawl will come out from Texas. And that's the way I wrote it. I only remember fireflies. Crickets was having some kind of party, dancing and singing outside my window. Their music was keeping me awake. One song kept time with my heartbeat as I lay there still. The bed was damp with my sweat. I waited for a breeze to wander in, but it never came. I heard whispering from the next room. It drifted in like incense through paper-thin walls, and I waited for it to stop. As I wiped my palms, the palms of my hand on clean, crisp white linen, my fingers felt for the crease in the sheet. It testified of the strength my grandmother used when she ironed, pressing down hard until the edge of each pleat could cut you. I was at peace. I was home. The 2-day journey on the Amtrak train was now just a memory. At 1 a.m, I had lost my little red coin purse, changing trains in St. Louis. Mama said we couldn't stop to look. All aboard, ma'am, all aboard, bound for Texarkana, Texas. He lifted me up on the platform. Chicago had no more claims to me. As I closed my eyes and inhaled the scent of fresh cut grass, silence overwhelmed me. Tomorrow I'm going to scrub the grime and dirt of the tenement the ghettos offer me. It had gotten clean under my fingernails and into the roots of my hair. The smells, too. Yes, the stench of drunk men's urine and cheap wild Irish rose wine spilling down black alleyways had gotten all mixed together, ending up at the bottom of our steps. Our door had been left unlocked.
Beautiful.
So that's part of it.
That is beautiful. And that is why one of your reviewers, I love this. She said, I enjoyed reading the poetry select submissions. I felt that I could put myself in the shoes of the writer and live in the stories of the poems. And that is exactly how I felt when you read it, was that I was you. I could feel being that I could be that little girl taking that trip and having that new experience. And that's wonderful. That is so wonderful.
Thank you so much. I was so excited by what the judges said, actually.
This is great. So every one of our top winners will receive $250, a trophy, the title of Chapter 1 Writing Competition winner, advertising support from direct to author, and an opportunity to possibly get a traditional deal with Village Care Publishing. This is not something small, which is what I love, is that our writers, especially our top writers, have gone on to win even bigger competitions and to continue upon this process and to do extremely well. So that tells us that we are, we being our reviewers, because I don't review, but they have a great eye for talent. And so congratulations on everything that you've done. And thank you for sharing your experiences with us. I think people fail sometimes to realize how intimate these works of art are. When you're sitting down and you're writing something, you're pouring so much of yourself into it, and you have to be authentic and you have to share, because the readers are smart and they know when you're not doing that. So congratulations on everything. Share with us, our readers our writers out there, especially our poetry writers, what keeps you motivated to write?
Wow. Well, in the beginning, when I was in college, I went to college and I studied playwriting and directing. So that's what I thought I was going to be. I was going to be this director of plays. And so I was writing a lot of plays and doing things like that. And then later, when I moved to Sweden, my husband, I was telling him all those stories of me growing up as abject poverty. And he said, you need to write this as a novel. You need to write this down, And I'm like, well, I'm not very descriptive. I'm a playwright, we write dialogue. And so he said, just try it, And so then I did, and I wrote this book. And then, so poetry was never on my radar, actually, as something that I would do, to write or send in, even what I did with you guys. It was just something on the spur of the moment that I decided to do. But the thing is about writing is that you just have to sit down and you just have to write. Mm-hmm. You have to write, and you can't be intimidated by a blank page, because God says your gift will make room for you. And that's what he did with me. I mean, the gift that he put in me, which I knew it came from him, it made room for me in many places that I wouldn't ordinarily people wouldn't ordinarily think about. But so because I found that most people are challenged by a blank sheet of paper, I say you might not write well every day, but you can always edit a bad page, but you can't edit a blank page. I think one of the famous, I forget her name, she said that Jodi Picoult, I think that was her name. She quoted that. And so yeah, I would tell poets, future poets, future writers, just write. Have a journal it down, put it down on a piece of paper, and don't worry about what someone thinks about your story. It's your story, it's your writing, and just be happy with it.
I love that. I love that. I love the idea. You cannot edit a blank page, everybody. That is profound, and that is so true. We need to just continue to write. My goal is to support as many writers as I can in this lifetime, because I believe that we have to care about the literary community. Books got me through my hard days of growing up. Grew up in the projects. I used to read and read.
No,
and
you
read.
didn't.
Yes, I did. It took me just away from everything. I was obsessed with reading. I had a teacher who said that a good reader will have a book in every room, and a good writer reads. And so I was always reading because I wanted to be a writer. And so I didn't publish my first book until 35. But I am obsessed with writing now, and I love working with writers. And so I want to encourage everyone to continue to do what you do, because that is so profound, that we need to continue to fill those pages with beautiful words. They mean something. Think about the things that got you through life. A lot of times it's a book. It's a story,
Amen.
and so that's what's important. So tell me about next steps for your work.
Well, my next step is looking for an agent or a publisher. I know you guys were talking about that. I'm like, oh, but I would love to be in there. But, if it doesn't happen here, it's going to happen. I know that that's my future. It's going to happen. I will have an agent and publisher to publish, and I will go forward. And I want to also do more poetry, and to perhaps do a book of poetry, because most of my books contain little poems here and there, and I didn't even think about it. But so I would want to do another one book just with poetry alone, and to retain an agent or publisher, and take my book that I've written to another level, to the next level, which I believe is to be for television as a series, maybe for 12 episodes. And just, it's all in my head. But, if you keep putting it out there, you're going to get something back. So,
absolutely. Yeah. And so congratulations again.
Thank you.
And I look forward to continue to work with you. I am always available if there's anything I can do to help. So congratulations. And again, everyone, this is Sandra Brown Lindstedt. Her submission, I Only Remembered Fireflies, won the top prize in the poetry category for the 2024 Chapter 1 writing competition, sponsored by the Black Writers Workspace and direct2author.com. Thank you so much. And you're going to come back towards the end so that we can all be on screen together as they announce the 4 recipients of the Village Care Publishing deal. Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have